and bring flowery fragrances, breathing new life to the suffocated hill. Butterfly, butterfly, awaken, you meadowlark of spring. Howl and have suffered this nightmare too long. Spring breeze will chase you and bring flowery fragrances, breathing new life to the suffocated hill. Adieu.
Masako-san, would you? Is Masako-san here? Oh, okay. One more prayer.
Join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Parent, the victorious true parent, heaven and earth and all humankind, thank you so much for this, the beautiful morning. We gather together here as a family. We are holy community. I am so grateful you send us the wonderful pastor, the Reverend Minuhan and the family. They are very young couple and a leader, but they have so much the parental heart, taking care of this community so much. I'm so grateful all the brothers and sisters here that we pray each other and help each other and lift up each other. We really want to be the ideal community. We always want to receive you and the true parents. We want to testify that your love through our relationship. We are in America. America is the elder son nation. That we really want to stand for the world, and we want to take responsibility financially, and also we want to send many missionaries to the world, Heavenly Parents. That this morning that we offer our humble offering, but with our love and a deep heart, and for your will in this community, please accept our offering and please use them for your will. Thank you so much for everything. I report this in the name Masako Blessed Center family. Adieu.
Thank you, thank you. Please be seated. We're back, everybody. The full team is here. Let's give all those who went to Korea a big hand. Reverend Dase, Keisetsu. Reverend Josh, too. He should get a round of applause, too. Yeah. He was there for 40 days, soaking up the air in Korea. So you can tell there's a lot more oxygen in our blood. We're no longer sleepy. This is the great awakening within our own Manhattan family and community. So I'm very excited about that. Gosh, there's so much I want to say. And it was hard to choose what to talk about this morning in particular. But I first want to comment on the song that Reverend Green sang. Does anyone here know who wrote that song and how? Right, True Father wrote it. Do you know when? I know someone here knows. Yes, well, he was in Hungnam prison, basically sentenced to death. You know, no one survives there usually for more than 6 months, but he was there for 2.5 years. And he wrote that song as just a reminder of, you know, no matter where we're at, that spring breeze can always come in. And then no matter how much we're being persecuted, right, in Japan, all over the world, there is always a spring breeze. If we just connect with true parents, it's right there with us. Let's do some milestone reading. At Manhattan Family Church, each person is, number 1, loved as a divine son or a daughter of God. 2, empowered to fulfill their God-given calling. And 3, contributing to a world where families thrive. Adieu. So this is my promise to you if we work together. And the theme for this year, together, co-creating the culture of heart. Adieu. Again, focusing on milestone 3. Working on the blessing working on making a community where families thrive. And I'm going to say it, even I like this more intimate service. It's a little more child-friendly. Did you notice someone extra in the choir today? You noticed him? Hiroki? I think he didn't feel so intimidated to come up here, right? I sat next to him just now, and I thanked him for being a part of the choir. And then he whispered back to me, "You know why, Papa?" Like, why? Because Reverend Green said, come and sing. He always has like an explanation for everything, which is good. I think it's good. But often that's as simple. It's as simple as that often. Just an invitation, right? Reverend Dase, you don't have to be a perfect public speaker to invite a friend. Hey, just come. Just come be a part of this family. We welcome you. That's all it takes. Yesterday was the Spring Fest at the Belvedere Estate. Who was there yesterday? Maybe Reverend Josh? Oh, you were there too. Good. Oh, yeah, I saw Derek. So you must have been somewhere. Okay. Did you have fun? Yeah, it was glorious. And a glorious day for chess ministry too. So we had our chess tournament. Pretty good turnout, considering I didn't do any promotion at all. So we had 16 participants, and I did some fundraising. The cash pot became $115. So, yeah, let's give it up for all those who donated. Thank you. And you can keep giving. You can keep donating to the chess ministry, by the way. Just go to our website. Of course, we did our prayer in the beginning, and Uncle Robert, our faithful, he was definitely there. And it was funny. He ended up getting third place in the tournament. And then there was a big upset because this kid, Yuken, he's rated like a 2000 level. Yet, I think he was a little bit nervous and he was somehow shaky in the final match. And so he lost to Werlo, our Tongyo Mudo master over here. So I guess under pressure, he's better. So he won. And we had some kids. You can see always, this is just the final group. There's people watching all over. So it was fun. Had a little raffle at the end. And, of course, we're back from the Blue Dragon pilgrimage. I've been giving talks on the evening devotion, evening prayer vigils, so maybe some of you heard. We didn't record that, but if I can sum it up, really, all my negative energy or my hesitancy to connect with the national and sub-regional providence, all that negativity is gone. It's gone. Yeah. You okay with that, Tal? You're happy? Okay. Go on. Yeah, give me a hand. Give God a hand. I give credit to God. Okay, so really our new purpose now is to make Pastor Naokimi successful, Reverend Dunkley successful. Why? Because Mother needs them. She's trusting them to accomplish America's purpose, which is to deliver America to God. There's just a few pictures here, some highlights. This was our trip to our ski resort, Yosu. Of course, there's not much snow there now, but this is the place where Winter Sonata, right, was filmed, and a very beautiful place. We hit the beach, and we won the sandcastle contest. Let's give New York a hand. Yeah, we did that. So the goal was to make like a replica of the Chunwon-gung. So I can't say ours was the most beautiful, but it was the most accurate. So that's why we won. Okay. So this was the International Leadership Conference, which was focused on clergy. That was pretty cool. Just some snapshot with Archbishop Lewis. And the blessing ceremony. Who here watched the broadcast of the blessing? Yeah? Wasn't it beautiful? I mean, I would say this is the best one yet. Of course, that just means next year it's going to be better. So they always improve. And here's our couple in Megumi-san in Manhattan, marrying across the enemy lines to New Jersey. So Atsuki So sometimes I think of New York and New Jersey like North and South Korea. So if we can unite, then we can bring peace to the rest of the world. So, of course, Himiko-san, it seems like she's living there at Cheongbyeong every time. She seems to always be there. But she's back in Japan now, just so you know. You can see some of the flowers, just beautiful. This is the best time of year to be in Korea, so we're so fortunate. Okay, now we're coming to the meat today. Trying to distill. I was asking God, really, what do you want me to say? Because there's just too much. And God wanted me to talk about resonance. Right, and Kathleen, I feel like we, as Americans, New Yorkers, we didn't see the nuance. There's a difference between unison prayer and resonance prayer. And the best way, I had to go to Korea to really understand the difference. Because you can watch the Korean broadcast and you can kind of intellectually figure out what is happening here. You can watch the whole thing, the whole 3 hours. One thing I noticed in the resonance prayer in Korea was there was no time to pray. Isn't that funny? It's a prayer vigil, yet we're not praying. We're just listening to testimonies, and then there's a lot of singing and worship music, and a message from our international president. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Korean Chun Shin-won president. So we had everything but prayer. There's like a 1 minute kind of in between songs. There was a time for that, and there'd be representative prayers where people would sing, people not sing, but they would. After every sentence, they'd be like, and then there'd be the drum bump. So there was a lot of prayer. There's prayer happening, but not with me. I'm not praying. It's someone else. And so we have a beautiful tradition where we do unison prayer, right? Where we're all praying at the same time and putting our prayers together in a big pot to offer to heaven. But that's not what resonance prayer is. Resonance prayer is connecting us into one frequency. So there's a lot of things that matter to me that I'm praying about, that I want to offer to God or ask for help. But with resonance prayer, it's connecting to the frequency God is at right now. And you'll notice whenever a lot of these people are praying, even in our own resonance prayers, you hear the same thing over and over again. And it's God's longing heart. How long God has waited. You can feel emotionally how long God has waited to bring his family together. And that's what's happening in these resonance prayers. So it's transformation through the way God feels today in that moment. And so that's the theme. That's the new theme for our ministry. I think there was a period where we needed to divide. That's the principle, right? Right, Caleb? Right? Origin, division, union, right? There's a period of division where we need to kind of go off on our own and figure things out. But eventually we have to come back to the center. And when we do, we have more to contribute. And kind of new creations can come about through that. And what I'm saying is now is the time for New York to unite. Unite with the Center of Providence and kick some serious butt. And I think not a moment too soon. I feel like our sub-regional leadership needs more New York energy right now. Okay. So they need a little help. So we're going to come in with the cavalry and bring in a new Pentecost. So I want to focus on 2 points today. One is looking at a parallel with the Pentecost and the wave that's happening right now. And then next I'll talk about our own real church growth plan that's going to target younger people, younger in heart. Okay? You know what I mean? And I'm keeping the blue dragon now in the middle of the slide. So in the book of Acts, this is where it describes from Peter the Pentecost that took place. So in Acts 2, 14, 21, these people are not drunk. just before this, he talks about the people who were laughing and saying, all these people speaking in tongues, they're just a little bit high. And Peter's like, no, these people are not drunk as you suppose. It's only 9 a.m. No, this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people, your sons and daughters. Daughters, I like that. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women. I wonder why he's really emphasizing women. It's interesting. Huh? Oh. I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below. Anyone feeling signs? Things kind of clicking? Reverend Josh does, I know, every day. Me and I both. And there's a secret to getting those, you might call heavenly intervention in your life. In fact, Yonanim, Hyojin's wife, she gave a talk and gave us directly mother's words about how to connect with the providence. And I know a lot of us sometimes we feel guilty. I have my day job and I try to come to church when I can or participate in all the Zoom calls and stuff. But that's not necessarily the providence. The providence is simply asking God, what do you think before you do anything? So you know how you pray for your meal, right? Does everyone have like a pretty routine prayer you do when you pray for your food? I have one. Like, dear Heavenly Parent, please bless the food. Thank you for this food. I do. I even skipped the last part. But I'm grateful. My heart is like, I'm grateful for this food. But apparently Mother's saying, you can even ask God, what do you want me to eat? Even after I already made it. But maybe I should maybe pray before I make it. That's probably what I should do. But just inviting God before you take an action. Now, Mother also said, you don't always do what God is advising you to do. And that can be okay, but the point was you include God first. So you kind of get the wise counsel from heaven, and then you decide as a mediator on the earth what to do. With the full wisdom and counsel. Does that make sense? So God does trust you, but he won't trust you, she won't trust you until you've at least heard what God had to say. Does that make sense? I felt that was liberating for a lot of young people because sometimes you just don't want to do it. I feel God telling me to do stuff all the time, and I'm like, not now. And that's okay, but as long as we include. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great glorious day of the Lord, and everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. What is the name of the Lord? There's a few different versions that Mother is very emphasizing today. Anyone? Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent. I feel like every time we say Heavenly Parent, God is like, oh, yes, this whole other half of me, this feminine, motherly nature is being acknowledged. There's something else we also say in Korean. Of course, Hanul Pumonim, that's Heavenly Parent. But what are we screaming before we do our residence prayer? Alman saying, yes, exactly. So that is the name of the Lord. And the best way to describe this is it's like a baby crying out to their Papa, I need you. I'm here. Because God cannot intervene unless we call out his name, her name. And so just like Enika right now, at night, Mama. She does not want Papa at night. In fact, our trick is I hold Emika, wear her down, so she's so exhausted by the time she goes back to Mama, she goes straight to sleep. but she's crying mama at night. But who is she crying for in the morning? Papa. Thank you. You had no confidence in me. Come on. I'm really good with these kids. No, she's crying for Papa in the morning because she wants to play. Papa's way more exciting than Mama. And Psyche takes no offense at that. She knows it's true. But literally, she wants to go to school with the kids. And she's screaming at the top of the stairs like, take me. Papa. So, but imagine my daughter did not cry out. We wouldn't know. All right, there would be the calling of the name of the Lord. That is our connection to God. That's how we connect. And even Reverend Higuchi shared with us some advice. If you can't scream inside of your house because it's like a duplex or connected to someone else, then put a towel over your mouth and scream like a crazy person. Because that's what that emotional jolt of energy awakens heaven. It brings something power down. So, just like in the book of Acts. Now, talking about your mother, and specifically, this is from the Mother of Peace, and this is a more less esoteric version of what I just said, explaining how we get the power of God in our lives and awakening the spirit of the early days. I vividly recall the pledge I made on that day that my husband passed away. I will revive the church with the spirit and truth we had in the early days. I've kept that promise. The filial devotion of our sons, Hyojin and Hongjin, lives on in my heart, along with the spirit of my beloved husband. When we convey filial devotion to all people and everyone lives for the sake of others and looks after each other, that will be the kingdom of heaven. This is one big family is what we're talking about. What's amazing to me is that in the same paragraph, Mother's talking about reviving the early spirit of the church and our connection to Hyojinim, Hungjinim, and True Father. Which looks kind of like that, right? In fact, we've been instructed when you pray here in the Chuncheon, Father's waiting for you. And you can say True Father's name. And he will listen and respond. Send angels and support. Of course, he may not be micromanaging. He probably has a lot of angels and people working on it, right, from up there. But the point is, we have access from heaven directly through True Father and Hungjinim and Hyojinim. And Mother's saying that's how we ignite the spirit of the early church. This is how we're going to activate a real overwhelming power of the Holy Spirit coming into our movement. So I love how everything makes perfect sense now. What helped me understand, Reverend Dase, about what the evening prayer vigil is, what it's the power that it has, was this. Do you know what it means to wear this purple coat? No? Anyone know? Anta, you know? So you had to have been in the Chuncheon evening prayer vigil a certain number of days. I believe it was like 100 or more. No, it must more than that. Maybe a year. Anyway, hundreds of days in order to get this purple jacket. All right. And look at all these young people. And you can't see it so well here, but this is just them performing for True Mother and all of our leadership. But they were in tears. You can't see it like that so well there, but they were deeply sincere, and they feel this. They feel the division in Korea, and they feel God's longing heart to reunite this country. Because they're doing what I can't do. I'm not a Korean person living in Korea to help reunification. They have to do it, and there they are every night, joining for 3 hours every single day, from 11 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. Every day. Like, how can they do that? If not, the Holy Spirit is working right there. And it was tough. I don't know, Reverend Dase, Keisetsu. I couldn't do it every day. In fact, we got some breaks while we were there because we needed to be awake during the other lectures and other activities. And even what's also so great, and this is the mother's touch, is Reverend Lee Gi-sung, he mentioned how we're often half awake during these 3 hours, right? Some of us a little less than half. There was one time, Resfred Arthur, we all know Resfred, right? Mariko-san, right? You here? Yeah, your son. He was sitting in the back of the room, and he has a pretty fuzzy head. He was sitting in a chair, and he literally had his head up against the wall like that. This brother was sleeping the entire time. And I asked him, like, was that your intention? Because it looked quite comfortable. And he's like, no, I wasn't trying to sleep. But Reverend Lee said, that's a part of the experience. Because you're kind of in this half awake, half dreamlike state. And in that state, you're more susceptible to spiritual experiences. I was like, oh, thank God, because I wasn't sure if I was doing this right. So that was but then I kind of took the liberty too far after hearing that. So anyway. But what happened to me was during my prayer, while being tired, I felt this desperate heart. Like there's so much that I want to do, but I'm only one person. I felt this trust and reliance on heaven to activate ahead of me. Does that make sense? Like, God, what else can I do? This kind of feeling. I'm stuck over here in Korea. My family's in New York. I don't know what's going on with my church right now. Like, I need you to intervene. And I'll tell you what. I'll come back to that picture. I took a video. I was in the back of the room. This is when I first arrived in the Chuncheon in our prayer vigil. And the first night I had this kind of prayer. And by the way, even though we're not praying so much ourselves, the answers are coming. Answers to all the things I didn't know how to get through. But in the first night, I had this kind of prayer. What else can I do? And God's like, you being here is all you had to do. Go deeper into Canaan. Go deeper with True Mother. No matter, then everyone will follow. That's the only way it's going to work. There's no smart strategy that's going to work. It has to be closer to True Mother. And I'm weeping because I feel like I'm leaving so many people behind. My heart wants to grab people and bring them closer to me, but actually what I need to do is go closer to Mother. And then everyone will come. When they'll see it for themselves where they want to be. And a little miracle did happen. Just the next morning, I saw a text from, I'm going to say, a family member who wanted nothing to do with me. And all of a sudden, they texted me saying they want to meet up in New York. And it's just God kind of nudging me and saying, see, I told you. I told you. Do you need any more proof, Milhan? Because I got a lot of things to do. Like, okay, yeah, all right. I believe it. I'm a believer. Go close to Mother, and then heaven will figure everything else out. Including this. This was 420 Americans. Young people. Yeah, let's give them a hand. And I get very little credit for that. I was one of the people who finally got pulled in. So this is Reverend Dunkley's victory. And that's a big deal. So the Mother can trust America again. But here we are at the DMZ, at the Pumnik Goal site, and we totally overran the place. We totally took it over. There were like little tours going on and stuff, but we're definitely just taking over that place. And we came to this fence. You see all those little tags of prayers that people have been putting in there for reunification, for peace. We were singing prayers. Powerful. Everyone was in tears. Even the tourists, I could see them wiping away tears from their eyes after we had finished. And if reunification is going to happen, we need a miracle. And if a miracle is going to happen, it's going to be from our young people, right? I mean, there's no other transformation ever happened any other way. And so that's really the new Pentecost, is the power of the evening prayer vigil with young people, putting those purple coats on and standing with Mother no matter what. That's what's going to happen. But what do we do over here in New York? What is our real church growth plan? And just so you know, I'm not taking this out of nowhere. This came from our 5 prayer points. And by the way, if I should have this on my wall, because these 5 prayer points, this is like our new family pledge in a way. This is exactly what Mother is telling us to do, what's on her heart, what's on God's heart. And if we should have these memorized, because if you're ever unsure of where you're at right now, just go back to these. So first is for the safety of true parents and the true family, for victorious entrance into the Chunil Sanctum in Chunwongung. And again, this beautiful building is where God can guarantee that for generations to come, we will know our place as God's children. So for education, also for a meeting place for the United Nations or whoever to assemble there. 3, to successfully witness to new people, especially young people, and for real church growth. For the unification of North and South Korea and a heavenly unified Korea, and to overcome all crises affecting our world and to realize a heavenly unified world. So number 5 is like everything else. And I feel our primary focus is right here. If we can have a thriving movement here in the U.S., then maybe more people will listen to us in Korea. So I'm offering some biology class. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I studied microbiology, by the way, in food science. So if you want to talk about science, please, you're welcome. Most of us are more artsy types, I've noticed. But anyway, this is the Heavenly Rebirth Canal. Okay? This is how we're going to give rebirth to people. And I want to let you know that I'm rethinking how we do church. For the most part, it's been Sunday service driven. And that's good. I think we're definitely going to keep this Sunday morning. But it's not the only thing that's happening, okay? And so I'm going to put more energy into this rebirth process. First, we have all of our activities. We have, of course, church service, all the ministries that you're running. And then we invite people to the 43-day devotional. Okay, so I know a lot of us young people, we've been discussing this already, but there's something called the 43-day devotion. Right, Caleb? I think you bought one already. And this is a book that Reverend Holmes published. And it's a wonderful summary of all the core things that you need to know. It also has reflective exercises and brings us closer to a call to action to save America. And then we invite people to sign membership. This is where they commit to this community. And then I'm launching a new program called Life Quest, which will be exclusive to members. All right. So again, fun ministry activities, sports, chess, gaming tournaments. Yes, video games is a big, big opportunity, guys, that we're missing out on, Isaac. Evening prayer vigils, of course, concerts, DP workshops, matching workshops, ministry events, conferences, okay? So there's a ton of things at the top of the funnel of the birth canal. Build trusting relationships. So that's what's happening during the 43-day. Build trusting relationships with spiritual parents and the church community while learning basic tenets of faith. And this can be done one-on-one or in a group. when they sign membership, this is where they're committed to attend programs, contribute financially, continue to learn in our the teachings of true parents, and then to volunteer in some sort of service, okay? So does it say somewhere that they have to accept true parents as their Lord and Savior? No, okay? Let's be honest, I think we're all growing in this understanding anyway. The signing membership means we're committed to grow together. And then finally in Life Quest, this will be a group coaching exclusive to members, like I said. And we'll focus on achieving goals in career, marriage, family, legacy, all while supporting God's providence, okay? So you can take a picture of that, yeah. We'll also have this whole thing recorded online. But this is it. I don't think this is going to change for quite some time. And everyone's welcome to go through this pathway as well. I don't know if there's any questions about this. If there's any questions, I could take one or two. But then we're going to close out. Pretty straightforward, I think. Morning devotion. Well, there's the evening prayer vigils. Morning devotion. Yeah, there's sure. I can stick it on there. Yeah, why not? Any activity that we're doing that you would invite a friend, like Hiroki, just invite, and they'll come. Okay. So this is resonance. Resonance is not just my idea of starting with God. Connecting where is God's heart right now on these 5 prayer points. Connecting with Mother's desperate heart, what she's